Ever wonder how those taxis zipping around are actually reeling in customers? Well, today we're going to find out. We're diving deep into taxi marketing, especially how it's morphed in our digital world.
Sounds fascinating.
Our
Why?
source, Taxisolutions, they're a UK company all about, well, taxi solutions. Their website's a goldmine.
Oh, cool.
They've got a 4.6-star rating from 22 reviews, so they might be onto something big here. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Right off the bat, their website screams visual content.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a far cry from those old billboards and phone book ads.
For sure, for sure.
Now it's all about snagging attention online.
Absolutely.
And strong visuals, well, they're the key.
They really are.
Yeah.
What really hits you is their focus on visual content. Like,
Right.
it's a complete shift from the old days.
And they really hammer home the power of visuals. There's a whole section dedicated to it. Makes sense, though, right? When you're scrolling through your feed, it's the eye-catching stuff that makes you stop.
Makes total sense, yeah. And Taxi Solutions highlights how visuals build, engagement, trust, all that, especially for services like taxis.
They're huge on video, not just those slick car commercials either. They're talking customer testimonials, even behind-the-scenes peeks into the taxi world.
That's smart. It's about showing that authenticity. Consumers eat that up these days. Yeah, seeing a real person rave about their experience, it builds way more trust than some polished ad.
They keep mentioning this locally relevant photography. It seems like more than just, a catchy phrase.
It's totally tapping into that familiarity thing. Picture this, you're scrolling, and bam, there's a photo of a taxi on your street corner. Maybe passing by your favorite coffee shop. Grabs your attention, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's the power of local visuals right there.
Makes you feel like they're part of the community, not just some, faceless corporation.
Exactly. It builds trust because it says, hey, we know your neighborhood, we get what you need.
Okay, but what about those of us who aren't professional photographers? Do we need to hire a whole crew to get those local shots?
That's where their content shoot plan comes in. They don't, lay it all out on the website.
Right.
But it seems like they help companies plan this whole strategic approach to content creation. It could be scouting locations that click with their audience, capturing scenes of their taxis in rush hour, or picking up happy tourists at the airport, stuff like that.
They're also big on ditching those generic stock photos, and for good reason. Who wants to see a random yellow cab in Times Square when you're trying to book a ride across town?
Right. Goes back to authenticity. Stock photos just feel, impersonal, detached.
Yeah.
By showing their actual taxis and familiar local spots, companies create this genuine connection with potential customers and says, this is us. This is where we work. We're here for your community.
They even quote this Jeff I. Richards guy saying, creative without strategy is called art. Creative with strategy is called advertising. So that's the takeaway there.
It's like a little reminder that visuals are just part of the equation. You need a plan, a strategy behind those creative choices. You know what I mean?
So it's not enough to just snap a few pretty pictures of taxis. You need to think about the message, who you're trying to reach, and how those visuals fit into your bigger marketing goals.
Exactly. And Taxi Solutions, they seem to really get that.
And to back it all up, they've got a ton of glowing testimonials from happy clients.
Social proof is powerful, especially these days. Everyone's skeptical of marketing hype. When you see real people, actual taxi company owners raving about how Taxi Solutions help them, well, it adds credibility that's hard to fake.
One testimonial even mentions pulling in more tourists and students, which is a pretty specific target audience.
Yeah, it suggests that Taxi Solutions doesn't just do this one-size-fits-all approach. They tailor their strategies to each client, their specific needs and goals.
So they're not just about pretty pictures, they're about results.
Exactly. And that's what makes their approach so, compelling. They understand that visuals are powerful.
Yeah.
But they got to be used strategically to hit those business goals.
This is fascinating. I never thought there was so much to uncover in the world of, taxi marketing. It seems like these guys are really onto something, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure. They definitely seem to have a handle on this whole evolving digital marketing landscape, especially for something as, traditional as taxis. It makes you wonder, if taxis are upping their game like this, what does it mean for other businesses?
That's a great question. I guess we're all vying for attention in this digital age. And if even taxis are using these sophisticated visual strategies, the bar has definitely been raised for everyone.
No doubt about it. And the key takeaway here is visuals are powerful, but they got to be used with, purpose. intention.
It's not enough to just be online. You got to create content that clicks with your audience and drives, real results.
You got it.
Well, this deep dive has definitely given me a whole new perspective on taxi marketing. I never realized how much strategy and creativity goes into getting those cabs noticed.
And we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore when it comes to visuals in the digital age.
I'm ready to dive deeper. What else did we uncover in our research?
One thing that really jumped out at me, going through this, was how much they emphasize using video to really showcase the customer experience.
Yeah.
It's not just about showing the cars or the drivers.
Right.
It's about capturing that whole feeling of taking a ride, the convenience, the reliability,
It's funny you say that. I was actually just looking through their website and I realized I rarely ever see videos from taxi companies.
Yeah.
It's usually just those static photos of the cars or like a map of their service area.
Exactly. And that's where Taxisolutions is kind of, shaking things up.
Yeah.
They're showing the industry that video can be this incredibly powerful tool for connecting with potential customers on an emotional level, Imagine a video that captures, the relief of a traveler finally hopping in a cab after a long flight, or a student catching a ride home after studying late.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of stories that people really connect with.
It's about selling the experience, not just the ride.
Exactly. And video lets you do that in a way that static images just can't.
Right.
You show the friendly driver greeting the passenger, the clean and comfy car interior, the smooth ride through the city,
And they even offer drone footage as part of their content creation services.
Oh, well.
Now, that's something you don't see every day.
That's pretty cool.
It's a bold move, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Drone footage adds this really dynamic, almost cinematic element to their content.
I could see that.
Imagine like a sweeping shot of a taxi going through the city or a bird's eye view of a cab picking up a passenger at a busy train station.
Yeah.
It's visually stunning and it really grabs your attention.
It does. It does.
I wonder if they've ever used drone footage to showcase like those iconic black cabs in London.
Oh,
Talk about a unique perspective.
that's a great point.
They could really use those iconic images to their advantage, creating content that's both visually appealing and instantly recognizable.
For sure.
It seems like they're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with taxi marketing.
They really are.
They're not just following the trends, they're setting new ones.
They are. And that's what's so exciting about this.
Yeah.
They're showing the industry that taxis can be more than just a utilitarian service.
Right.
They can be a brand, an experience, a story.
It's a good reminder for all of us, really. No matter what industry we're in, we need to constantly be evolving, finding new ways to connect with our audience.
Yeah.
If taxis can do it, we can too.
Absolutely. And the key is to find what makes your brand unique.
Yeah.
And then use visuals to tell that story in a compelling, engaging way.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the power of visuals, especially in an industry like this.
For sure.
I mean, we're talking about taxis. It's not the first thing that comes to mind when you think of, cutting edge marketing.
Right. But that's what's so fascinating about it.
It is.
They're taking something that's often seen as mundane and they're elevating it through this creative visual storytelling. They're showing that even the most traditional industries can benefit from embracing new technologies and approaches.
I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the really heavy emphasis on showcasing that local experience? It seems like they're really trying to tap into that sense of community and familiarity.
I think it's a brilliant strategy, especially for a service that's so deeply rooted in the local community. People want to feel like they're supporting local businesses.
Yeah.
And by showing that they know the area, that they're connected to the community,
Right.
taxi companies can build trust and loyalty.
It's like they're saying, hey, we're not just some big faceless corporation. We're your neighbors and we're here to, help you with your transportation needs.
Exactly. And that message really resonates with people.
It does.
It creates this sense of connection and belonging, which is so powerful these days, when people are often feeling disconnected and isolated.
But wouldn't focusing so heavily on that local angle limit their reach? What if they want to expand their services to other areas or attract tourists?
That's where their strategic approach comes in,
Right.
They likely wouldn't abandon the local angle completely.
Yeah.
But they would adjust their content to appeal to a broader audience.
So instead of just showing pictures of taxis on Main Street, they might highlight the convenience of their airport pickup service or the ease of booking a ride to, a popular tourist spot.
Exactly. They'd still be showcasing the experience, but they'd tailor it to the specific needs and interests of that target audience.
It's like having different versions of the same story, each one tailored to resonate with a specific group of people.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of visual storytelling.
Yeah.
It's incredibly versatile and adaptable.
It is.
You can use the same basic elements, the taxis, the drivers, the cityscapes, but arrange them in different ways to create entirely different narratives.
It's like having a toolbox full of different tools and knowing which one to use for each specific job.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And it highlights the importance of having that strategic plan in place. You need to know who you're trying to reach,
Right.
what message you want to get across.
Yeah.
And then choose the right visual tools to tell that story effectively.
It's not just about throwing a bunch of pictures and videos online and hoping for the best.
No,
Yeah.
it's about using visuals intentionally and purposefully to achieve those business goals.
This deep dive is really making me think about how I use visuals in my own work.
Yeah,
I'm starting to see them in a whole new light.
that's the power of exploration and learning.
It is.
We often take things for granted, but when we take the time to really delve into a topic, we can uncover these hidden depths and gain new insights.
I'm ready to keep exploring. What other fascinating nuggets did we find in our research? It's funny, we often think cutting edge marketing and it's all tech companies or these huge brands.
Yeah.
But looking at Taxisolutions, it's like innovation can pop up anywhere.
It really can. It's a good reminder. Even industries we think of as, traditional,
Yeah.
they can really benefit from a fresh perspective, especially now in the digital age.
What's striking is they're not just slapping on some digital, facade.
No.
They're really digging into what makes taxis unique, that local on-the-ground experience.
It's about understanding their strengths,
Yeah.
right? And using visuals to tell that story in a way that really connects.
Yeah,
They're not trying to be, they're embracing what they are
exactly.
and using visuals to just, amplify it.
And in doing so, they're not just getting people from point A to point B, they're building a brand.
Exactly. They're creating an identity, a personality, something that sets them apart from everybody else.
It makes me think, how often do we get stuck in our own routines, our own ways of doing things? This is like a little nudge to step back and ask, how can I use visuals to tell my story better?
Absolutely. And it's not just about the visuals themselves. It's the strategy behind them, right?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? Who are you trying to reach? What emotions are you going for?
Like Taxisolutions with their customer testimonials.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just saying, hey, we're great. They're letting their happy customers do the talking.
Smart move. People trust other people,
Yeah.
especially for services like taxis. Seeing someone rave about their good experience, that's persuasive.
This whole deep dive, it makes me wonder, if a taxi company can use visuals so well, what does that mean for everyone else? It's a bit of a wake-up call, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure. We're all fighting for attention in this world, and it's getting more and more visual.
Yeah.
Whether you've got a small business, you're building your own brand, even just sharing ideas with friends,
Yeah.
thinking about how you use visuals, it can make a huge difference.
And it's not just about making pretty pictures or fancy videos.
Right.
It's about using them intentionally to connect with people, to tell your story, to build those relationships.
Exactly. It's about understanding how powerful visual communication is and then using it with purpose.
So for anyone listening, the challenge we're left with is this. In a world overflowing with information, how will you make your message stand out? How will you use the power of visuals to cut through all the noise and really connect with your audience?
That's the big question, and there's no one answer.
Right.
But this deep dive, it's given us a good place to start, wouldn't you say?
I think so.
It's about being strategic, being creative, and most importantly, being authentic.
Well said. This has been a fascinating look into taxi marketing.
It has.
Who knew there was so much to learn from those cabs out there?
It just goes to show there's always something new to discover, a new perspective to find.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the visual world of taxi marketing.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing those boundaries.